Good morning, everyone. Welcome to FYI. For your information, it is Wednesday, the 11th of May, 2022. I'm here, Director of Finance, alongside Sherrod Duncan this morning. Sherrod Avery Duncan, to be absolutely correct. Director of Vanessa Finance.
Believe it or not, live and live in color. How you guys doing? It's Wednesday, middle of the week.
Yes, it is. And guys, I see few of you being on always. Sherrod, no matter how early we come on, there are always folks there that's way before 8 o'clock, and those folks are people like Dave Durrell, Mr. John Jones, I see Beatrice Selvey, I see Siobhan McDonald, all of you guys. Siobhan said, I'm here waiting on you guys because if it wasn't for you guys, people in the diaspora wouldn't have been able to get the credible and valuable information out of Guyana. So we appreciate you guys. That means a lot. People people don't know how much those little comments mean. Thank you so much, Siobhan.
It's the little things.
I see Margaret Nelson is here this morning.
We got Margaret, we got Siobhan, Savitri Zal is here.
Hey, Savitri, good morning.
Whiskey, a little early in the morning for us, but whiskey nonetheless. Whiskey session.
Whiskey session is on this morning. Melissa Magnell Barrow also.
Melissa McFarlane is here.
Yes, Melissa. Good morning to you, Melissa. How are you this morning?
Yep. Shakira Phillips.
It's Yvonne Rodriguez, 6 to 4. I said, good morning, Sherrod. And that beautiful. Oh my gosh, thank you.
How are you all doing now? Trust your night was good.
Sharon Eastman Wharton from Georgia this morning.
Sharon, you're far, girl.
Yes, Isabella Butters.
How is Georgia? How is Georgia treating you guys? And Isabella, good to have you.
Isabella says she's watching from Deer Park.
Where's that?
I was hoping that you.
Where's Deer Park?
Where is that?
Get some deer.
I see Tessa Isaac, Grace Dandy's blessings to you from Orlando. So Tessa's over there.
Orlando, Georgia. Wow, we
Deer
all
Park.
over. Deer Park. We all over.
Yeah, guys, you know the drill. Let us know where you're joining from. Make sure that you share the stream so other persons can benefit from the information that we bring to you every morning. I think we are. I think the program, the structure, and the design of this program all together makes it easy for persons. I think the newspaper companies and so may not like us very much right now.
Why not? Why they stay so?
We just pull the information together, bring it to you. More context given to what is
You're
in there.
Different. It's good to have you guys here nonetheless. All the folks who have joined us, Dave Durrell and Alana Tang.
Dave says New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yes.
It's from New Jersey.
So she said their park is in Long Island.
Oh, wow. Yes. She's close to Warren.
Yes, she is.
Warren.
You and Warren need to link up.
Marvin Singh, how are you doing? Marvin.
I see Marlene the Young is saying love from France this morning. So
Georgia, Orlando, Deer Park, Jersey, France.
Yes.
We're going down. Welcome to our international morning show. Welcome, guys.
Yeah. Very true. As true as it can be. Guys, let me know if any of you joining from I think Jamaica Queens, and Beatrice Selbert is saying something about Jamaica.
Joel Fernandez is here, family.
Oh, Joel Fernandez is joining from home. Bartika, that's my brother. That is my brother.
I was wondering where's home.
He's my mother's second child, just after me.
Mobile then?
No.
Because the big ones just come up trick, but then as the age and so on, the little ones just get away more than
I see someone saying good morning from Providence this morning.
Wow.
I see Isabella say good morning, cousin Jarrett. I guess this is family. It's a family business.
Family. Andre Adams from Illinois.
Chanel Smith Daniel said I'm watching from them boys in the PPP country. Chanel, I come and collect the thing. Chanel, I was supposed to go by Chanel and collect something. I'm seeing her there. I'm not remembering. Chanel, my apologies. I come to collect the thing. Don't worry. So Marvin Singh is in Little Guyana in the house.
Yep. And all the other folks. Roxy McKenna and Roxy and Desiree, Maylin, is it Dijon?
Yes, Dion.
Yep.
Yes.
So let me try to balance up here.
Brenda Moore shared has serious OCD. You don't know.
Balance.
Every time you see him shifting around, as if you think there is little too much space to one side.
I want to be comfortable too.
Spice Man, good morning, my people. Spice Man in the house.
Literally balanced.
Yes.
Spiceman is here from Grenada.
Are you good, Sharon?
Yeah, I'm better now. I feel better, much better.
You want me to shift in a little?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm good. Spiceman from Grenada, great to have you. We have all of you guys, as a matter of fact. Great to have all of you guys here. We trust that all is well where you are.
I see PNCR Patriot says, "Good morning, comrades." That's the profile name.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
respect and manners.
Yes. Good morning to you guys. Alia Waldron, Sheridan News is what? I'm not claiming your ass.
What?
Just scroll back up to that comment. Hold on. We're not just gonna scroll past it like we didn't see it.
Hold on.
After demeaning in uplifted comments. All right. So Alia, speaking about the post that I saw that Daily News Guyana put up online, that basically they took some screenshots of some comments that was coming in after you posted your caption about the First Lady. But it's interesting enough because
really start for
information,
actual news.
It's one thing that when we're coming to combine the news, but then when you are the news, you have to let's give a crash course on that. Because one thing, what I found interesting is the fact that no one actually noted what your actual comments was to the matter. And if anyone was actually on the program last evening, they would know what did the line of comments were when it comes to that. Because I think that you have a bias and you happen to like the First Lady.
As a matter of fact, somebody called me last evening cussing me out.
Why?
Right? Me coming in the ring to hear you talking that you like the First Lady. I'm not coming for you. So keep you love affair with Aria private. But of course they don't carry that.
No, but I think they got some carried away. I think because I think there was some expectation that you were like poised to bash as against the actuality of it, But I say that as a young First Lady, I've said that I've never seen her as this person that is heavily invested in politics. As a young First Lady, and one of the things that she said is that there's no book saying that this is how you. This is how you have to do
precisely
being a First Lady. You have to integrate who you are or your personality with the functions and the expectations. So many expectations persons have.
But then at the end of the day, she is a First Lady, and there's a standard to that.
Yes.
And incidentally, the First Lady's office is a constitutional office because it's catered for by the Constitution, and there are funds. Taxpayers' funds that fund the office.
There are funds that.
So you're not immune to criticism.
Yeah.
All being an individual and all of that. And something tells me when you sign up to be First Lady, and when you become First Lady, you as a mature person got to say, my private life takes a backseat, irrespective of whether you like it or not. And every aspect of your life is scrutinized. I mean, here I am. I made a comment, and then you're and then it's taken like somebody carries it with a different slant.
Yeah.
It's part of being a public figure.
But that's what I was just going to say. It's not about being a First Lady. It's public figures in general. Once you're in political space, I've heard the worst things about myself even, and a lot of times, persons take things out of context and all of that. But I personally believe that, everybody have their own special touch that they bring to whatever. And I keep saying that as it is right now, her role as a force, I said she has the period poverty things that she's done, and she has been trying.
Here,
and we have publicly acknowledged. We have publicly acknowledged the good that she has been doing. So I think some persons they were expecting that you went down that you are going to go down a different route with that. So I think they were shocked that when you said
I think people are going to watch towards her more.
Persons were a little shocked when
as I told you, we got our hardcore fans, and one of them, real hardcore, called me last night. Right? As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna play some of the voice notes, cussing me out. No, I ain't coming. Keep that privately, right? You and she, keep it private. I'm not coming to here. You gushing on the First Lady like that. But them boys won't carry that. That's not. But again, there's a balance with it because this is a public figure. It's a public office.
It's a unique balance you have to find, and there's no
written
language. This is how it should be, but it's something that you have to work out as you go along.
But I would hope people can be factual in all of this too, because what are some of the facts? The fact is, the First Lady office receives twice the funding of that of the leader of the opposition.
But persons don't want to say those things.
Right, twice the funding.
But I did note you mentioned last night that the that event was charitable towards persons with disabilities. So all of that was said, but I didn't see them Daily News carrying that.
There is that, and there's also the other aspect of the fact that we were hopeful. One of the other things we mentioned last evening is that more than just being cosmetic, that you can actually have businesses, if we talk about people with disabilities, who are more in sync to cater, for people with disabilities in terms of accessing those businesses.
Not only that, I think even when you're planning, I think planning has a lot to do with it, because it's one thing to just speak about it. I'm just moving off topic a little bit to deal with the fact that there are a lot of persons with disabilities that are not catered for in society altogether. And even when you're doing infrastructure work around the place, a lot of times you go, if you're in New York, for example, the sidewalks and those things, they have entire bodies set up just to make sure that those sidewalks are wheelchair accessible and stuff like that, and those things have to be maintained and all of those things. It's a good platform to bring to the front, because a whole lot needs to be done in the way in which you plan it, the structural change altogether.
And look, all the other news mediums by the same measure, because I remember, for instance, right in this program, we featured the First Lady as one of the women, as our final woman when we did.
She was actually on May
International
8th,
Women's Day.
March 8th, sorry.
March. We had a whole walk from March 1st to 8th. Every day we featured, what do we call it? I remember. Person of interest.
Yes.
That's how we started that segment on person of interest. And on International Women's Day, the First Lady was our person of interest. Right? And you know what? You don't ever see. Let's have a conversation about that. You don't ever see. And that's the point. This person who contacted me last evening was telling me, you don't ever see Mrs. What's her name? Mrs. Norton as a person of interest on NCN or DPI. You can barely see coverage with Norton on DPI or NCN. You understand me? The way we are just being human beings. Right? People are in the news and we talk about that. If you don't like it, there are other things happening on social media that you can give your attention to. But you would never see the kind of coverage, positive coverage, we give to the First Lady here on these programs. You would never see it on the other side. On none. And that's what my friend is pointing out. But I mean, we don't always have to be like that. We don't have to be tit for tat. I didn't see Daily News come and say, featured on...
Daily News don't really give art. Daily News don't really give art, well, based on what I've seen, don't really give art, because a lot of times there's like a photo and a caption, and that's a lot of it is just like that without context to it. So I don't know if there was any context, further context given.
And too, Rita,
so I don't know.
There is something to be said about being out front. And if we were non-entities, nobody care what we say.
I think so too. So kudos.
People don't write articles about people who they don't know, who they're concerned about. So I mean, something about having a good morning show, thanks to you guys. It's not about me, it's about you, because you all show up. Hundreds of you showing up right now. Because we have a great podcast during the day, and we have perhaps the best. People tell us, we have the best show in the evenings. Show us a show in the Caribbean. We're 4,000 people, 5,000 people tune into every single night live. Right?
I think there's a uniqueness about it.
I think Daily News and
guys, let's be fair.
Love a show like that.
So shout out the programs in the evening, right? I tell Sheridan on the daily that you share it. I don't know where you get this energy from, but I do the morning show, and I'm sorry, like when I'm done with the children at home and family and work and parliamentary duties and all of those things, I am burnt out. And it's quite amazing that you can still you can still capture the audience, and then you realize that it's just a difference. First, people are looking for a difference. You have a mix of satire and news and every bit of that. So could I see you? I cannot do it. I'm still working on the mental frame framework to actually do the shared live, so I'm not there as yet, so I may bore you to death if I have to do that.
I still want to see it. We still want to see people. But that was last evening.
Yeah.
Again, fantastic initiative. We did say that last night too.
You said it last night. You said it was a good initiative, and I support. I think that's no, that wasn't in the caption.
See, for us, she taking she drink, and she the back balling. But what we say?
I think
she was being queenly. She was taking she drinks and she the back balling.
I think
right? And people paid $50,000 to go and see that. You mean?
People paid $50,000 to the charity, to
that was part of the entertainment.
To the charity. I think the whole thing was locked into the conversation, and I think it goes back to the fact that where is it defined as what a first lady is and all of that. So I understand the challenges altogether, because even as a public figure, as a politician, there are some things that you just don't understand.
We said
it's not clearly defined how you.
We said that don't look. Don't look for Sandra Granger in Area Alley. She's a different person,
it's
different individual, different
good.
Generation.
You're not gonna see me and my personality in anybody else. You're not gonna see Sheridan his personality in anybody else.
Knows.
Some people may like it, some people may not like it, some people may come and like it, some people may be harsh. I'm the last to be harsh on anything whatsoever. So when you hear me harsh on things is when I really I lose.
Ali says she know. I know. Ali says I know. Critic didn't pay 50,000.
Arya Waldron. Yes.
Says, she know, right? Right. Savitri said the party was for the big boys.
Well, if it's $50,000 to go, it definitely was not for. It was the persons that could afford to actually give to that event. And some people do things differently, and if that is bringing the resources,
kudos to you.
Stream, kudos to that. But as we move forward, guys,
what's on the morning papers?
You see Alia Waldron this morning. You just dictate what we're discussing first.
Alia,
we went
good. We come to get on. We did good. We there.
I brought Cher's water this morning. Give it to him.
You all see what happened before the show. Huh? You all see the show before the show. You got something called Calamity Jane and Joe. Calamity. Mm-hmm.
I see Cindy Leah Young, who is watching all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Today is her birthday. Kanji Nalini Inderjit is saying send out a birthday greeting to her little sister, Cindy.
Yeah,
so
Cindy Young.
Happy birthday, Cindy.
Anything for you, Candy. Anything for you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. May you see many, many more. Maybe a definitive year, the beginning of a definitive new year in your life.
Yes.
Closer to your hopes and dreams. Peace and power.
Blessings on your birthday.
Yeah.
Yes. I see. Guys,
can we move on now, guys?
We're going to move on from the comment section because we're going to be stuck there for the rest of the day. But very good. I'm glad. I love the fact. I think that's the little distinct difference with the show that we do. That persons can have an interactive session, not just us coming here and preaching down to you without you getting a chance.
We're different
to intervene. And
we're different, and we love it. We love it.
So this morning was Arya Waldron. Alia.
Yeah. The other morning was was what's his name from Grenada?
Yes.
Alia, all right.
Yeah, but we have.
We take it back now.
We give credit where credit is due, and we give critique where we see necessary. So, all in all, you know, a little bit of mixture in both. Guys, as we move on, we have to move on. You know, I'm looking at the morning papers and I'm seeing something that's most disturbing. I see 2 female students robbed by 8 men. And
that's interesting. That's interesting.
How do you get? I think that we are at this point right now that the reoccurrence, the consistency, you know, and this the fact that these things are mounting up on a daily basis. And I want to mention that half of these things don't get to the news. Half of these particular crimes don't reach the news because people just believe that you just, you know, if you're going
there's no redress, you ain't gonna find them.
Exactly, right?
What are we doing? Well, interestingly, those guys had just left the Christian Labour College in Wolford Avenue.
Yes.
At the other end of Christian Labour College, if you go down further by the immigration office next door, there's an area called there's a safe space, right? So I believe they were a little too far, right? A little too far.
That's a safe space. I didn't know that there was an area called a safe space.
No, it's not called a safe space, but they said that is created as a safe space. All right. So like if you're standing there, you won't get robbed and so on. So they were like in the wrong zone. And interestingly, over the weekend, I saw the Coast Guard boats, guarding another boat. Right? They had a lot of people on it, but not everybody's so fortunate to get, government sponsored security in that way. Some of us, gotta go there and we gotta fend for ourselves. And when we come off the boat, we got to solve the crime problem in this country, which is real.
When I'm reading the fact that you said 8 men on bicycles.
Yes, 8 men
on bicycles.
8 men. Right.
We have moved from this whole notion of first it was like, oh, you're stripping tints off of cars because criminals and cars. The person is like, oh, the criminals are actually on these on the bikes, the motorcycles. And there are a lot of persons that are committing crimes from motorcycles. But then when you hear 8 men on bicycles,
8 men. I don't want to pretend I didn't see 8.
8 men on bicycles.
One is enough. What are
you 8 men on bicycles going to rob? These students, 2 female students, that we are. It's a breakdown of societal morals and values standard altogether that you're looking at right now.
I could imagine in their own thinking. In their heads, they're safe if I got company.
Yes.
Right? If I got company, a little more safe. But you can't be safe 2 female. 8 of them guys. Brackle them. Right?
But
we're going to solve that.
That's why.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that this morning?
I think that that's why I always tell my child, I have my daughter, she's 16 years old, and I tell her all the time, I don't want her coming out of the school gate. And people say something like I'm a little too overprotective. I don't want nobody come and tell me no sad story. I don't have the patience and discipline for that. So you just don't leave the gate. You're gonna be picked up from the gate because it's so dead. But there's
crime is serious in this country.
There's I'm on the roadways and you see after school dismisses in the afternoon. There is a system that the children are all over on the road and they're having to get a transportation to go home. I remember one particular instance. I saw this little child and I said, this child is way too small to be catching a bus on its own. But I don't know the circumstances at home. That probably the mother is out working 24/7 trying to make ends meet and there is no other alternative. And they probably the safest place in the mother's head is to send the child to school for that time period, but then there's nobody to actually be with that little small child on their own to get a bus. I mean, these are the real issues that we need to be addressing. We just don't drive past and pretend we didn't see it. You can't turn a blind eye to the actual issues out there. But this particular matter with 2 female students being robbed with the men on bicycles, it gives you a clear picture of what it is right now. I remember, like I was telling my friend again that, she just walks around all over with her phone in her hands. And so I was like, girl, back in Guyana, we can't do that. You can't be going down. You can't walk at Stabrook Market with your phone in your hand.
Street in the city.
You bring, there's a gift. Them boys don't come and collect the thing.
Yes,
right? As though it is theirs, and it's something that we need to seriously address. We can't. And I want to make this point, my last point on this particular matter. There is never a case in which someone goes out there and commits these crimes, especially these type of crimes, and somebody don't know who it is. People always know. So the system is just not structured in a way to address it adequately so that it will not happen again. The system has to be restructured in order to fix that, because somebody always know who this is. And the police force, and I dare say the police forces have a mechanism that they know these people. There are some people that you just know that comes to a specific area and commits crimes, So I think at some point in time, people are losing hope and faith in the system altogether because these things are not being addressed. But you can imagine the trauma that these students are going through now.
And will continue to face for a long time when you are robbed like that. When I was much younger, I was robbed. I hardly know a person in this country who wasn't robbed. It's so pervasive, and we got to talk about that. That's something to talk about.
My child was standing at the school gate waiting to be picked up. Another child was crossing the road, and somebody literally came up to the child and wrestled him and robbed him of his cell phone right there in front of everybody.
You understand now why people don't want to children leave the school compound?
My goodness,
the school environment is dangerous enough these days. Much more to venture. We gotta fix that. we were promised a crime prevention plan. We're still waiting. 2 years on, we're still waiting. We're still waiting for that.
Yeah,
moving on.
That is correct.
Well, it's in the morning papers.
I noticed also Saturdays.
I noticed on the morning papers too. They have we have opened a drug. The
drug treatment court launched for juveniles. Well, a drug treatment court, and we spoke about this prior. I can't remember which morning program, but we spoke about this prior, and the fact that this is an initiative that is open and basically something that was launched under the previous administration altogether.
So the previous administration did things.
So we are very happy that
I thought them boys didn't do nothing.
That we see it moving forward in a positive direction. There are things that I'm very happy that did not just get washed away on this y'all didn't do nothing kind of bandwagon. So that's very nice. I see also, as we're looking at it on the international phase front right now, I see most interestingly the persons out there that have babies. US faces baby formula crisis.
I think we're in the brew now. This was brewing.
As the shortage worsens, and we so many times we read about these things without even the basic understanding of the implications that it have economically. And I found it very strange that I saw the BBC reporting on this matter. So major US pharmacies have restricted sale of baby formula in response to a worsening shortage of the special milk. So the baby formula uses a special milk, and we're seeing there that the US pharmacies are now restricting the sale of it because there's a specific shortage of this. And guys, once there's a shortage of something, what goes on, the price is going to start to skyrocket. So that's
or people just use the big people out there. We stay here. We use the big people milk.
Well, that's most interesting because the whole idea with these specific baby forms is a lot of mothers are out there that are working on so that they can't breastfeed from birth to 6 months exclusively as it is being promoted in Guyana. Guyana has the controversy. Guyana has a system in the hospitals that says that they encourage that breast milk alone from birth to 6 months, breast milk alone, and then they give the mothers 3 months maternity leave.
My wife did it. Right. My wife did it. You gotta respect women,
Then you give. No, you're not gonna rush past this.
My wife did
women need 6 months maternity leave. Yeah. That's the point. Yeah. I mean, that's a big
lot.
Debate.
It's a lot. When
that's a big debate.
You really come up close to pregnancy and childbirth and the months and years after that. That's an intense period.
Yeah.
Right. And I give hats off to my wife. Did that breastfeeding.
Yeah, but the whole point, 6
months.
The point that I'm making, Sharon, I don't want you to lose this. The point that I'm making is that the special formula that they're talking about is because they try to replicate the nutrients and so that's found in the breast milk that they want for babies from birth to 6 months. So the women that are not able to be at home and to breastfeed their children for that extent, the period of time will actually have the formula, and that formula is what is in crisis. But I'm making a point here, that we have a system in our health care system says that you should only give the baby breastfeed from birth to 6 months, and then at the end of that, women are only given this 3-month maternity leave. And then you're asking persons to extract milk and leave it at home and all. And I'm saying that there must be some time in which we revisit this system to actually weigh the cost.
More power to you guys.
The cost associated with it.
That's what's needed.
Everything is about money. Trust me. This is a cost. It's like, how much does it cost to have a mother home for that period of time in terms of what has been lost in the workload at the office? And at some point in time, it has to be weighed out. The associated costs with having the mother taken away, the health benefits and what is the ripple effect of not breastfeeding a child for that period of time and all of that. And see if the medical system is being burdened to some extent, and that is a cost associated also. So that's a debate that we can have.
Well, we don't like studies here and that kind of stuff. We don't like them kinds of things.
Yes. But as we move forward, further.
Now you want to talk about thing. Now you want
to back. No, tell me.
So I was going to say whatever. Let the women take the lead on it. And if it's more empowering for women to be home for 6 months, then so be it. So be it.
It's empowering to everyone, to the baby, to the woman, to the family, all together.
If it's more empowering, if that's what it. But again, we have to think it through. We have to do the work, put in the work. and see what comes out at the other end.
Not everyone agrees with this. I have friends, colleagues that highly disagree with this. Highly disagree with
male colleagues, female colleagues.
Males. I haven't found out a woman that disagrees with this.
In that case, don't let me delay the conversation. They talk about males who disagree.
I have colleagues that highly disagree with this and look at
this is your area. This is your area of specialty as a woman. I defer to you.
Yes, exactly.
Full stop.
But as we move forward, on the regional front, we see the mother and 12-year-old son stabbed to death. Guys, this is one of the most heartbreaking things you can look at. A woman and her 12-year-old son were stabbed to death in their home. And that is yesterday morning. The attack occurred sometime after 1 a.m. And guys, we're taking this out of the Trinidad Guardian, right? It is crazy. The grandfather rushed them to the hospital and called the police, and while the guy was awaiting his SEA results, the police are searching for the suspect, a soldier who is known to the woman. I know she had covered this some bit last evening also on the program, but this is a very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. It is. The police are actually looking for a soldier, as we said, who is known to the woman.
Correct.
And again, the studies tell us, if you like studies and so on, they tell us that most cases of domestic violence and so on, it's always somebody known to the family. In most cases, it's always abuse and so on. In most cases, so they're saying it was a soldier and he was known to the woman. What is heartbreaking, because I can almost see it in my mind's eye. They said the son who was stabbed. There's a 3-year-old baby who survived. The 12-year-old son who was stabbed. He ran about a quarter of a mile to his grandfather's house.
Correct. And he collapsed.
About a quarter of a mile. He ran, stabbed, 12 years old. And the grandfather took him to the hospital immediately while calling the police to the home. And the son succumbed, the 12-year-old succumbed at hospital. Could you imagine that? What is in a 12-year-old's mind? Running, walking for half a mile. He's just been stabbed. He's just witnessed one of the most traumatic experience of a short life. What is he thinking? What is he thinking of the world? 12 years old. That happened in Trinidad.
Yeah.
World gone mad. World gone mad.
I think sometimes we I'm going to say what I said yesterday morning. As parents, it's your responsibility to protect our children.
Yeah. And it gets worse in Trinidad.
And to actually
it gets worse.
Remove all dangers from around them. You see sign of danger, just remove yourself. A lot of times you have this fear. Like a lot of times we're so reliant on someone that we fear their aggression and all of those things. But we're so reliant on them. I'm speaking as a woman, and we don't realize that how better off we are to just leave that situation. Yes, it's going to be tough. Nobody's saying it's going to be easy. Yes, it's going to be extremely difficult. But just remove yourself from that situation. You see, and I want to make a point. You see these red flags. Nobody just don't get up a day and do something like this. You see the signs. You see it and you choose to ignore it. We see signs and we choose to ignore it. And we have to move to a point that we don't do that. You see a sign and you just make sure that you address it, right? There are things that, persons have differences and all of that. There are little things that you can tweak as you go along the way. But when it comes to blatant signs of aggression, violence altogether, remove yourself from that situation. I'm speaking from the depth of experience when it comes to that. When you see persons demonstrating violent attitude and attributes, you keep as far away from them as you possibly can.
And I dare say it's on both sides of the gender divide. It's on both sides. Both sides.
Very true. Very true.
That being said, it gets a little bit worse in Trinidad because we are seeing there was another toddler, a 5-year-old, a toddler rather, 2 years old, body of 2-year-old, is it Kimani Francis was found?
Yes. I don't know. There's a lot coming out of this story because this morning I was listening to some comments coming out of from I think it was someone's TikTok channel that was basically the person was enraged because they're saying the focus now is being placed on the person that says they found the child and was a neighbor that said that they saw the child's body and against the parents. The persons are asking, why this person not locked up and all of these things. And the person was very upset about that. But as the report is saying, a child is there and the entire nation is torn to our depth within. We have questions to ask ourselves, not the least of which is whether this tender life could have been saved. The vast majority of us do not know this child or his family, but that does not insulate us from the deep, disturbing sorrow that washed over our nation tonight. I saw
that was Prime Minister Rowley.
Yeah, correct. And it said that it's sad. And this sad end is not what we were praying and hoping for, even as we struggle with a constant stream of violence, domestic and otherwise. And I saw, there's so many videos out there of the neighborhood coming together to go out and search for this.
The child went missing from the home. That's what happened here. The child went missing for some time, and there was a large search party. About 120 persons went out to look for this child. And it came to a very sad end.
It's very listen, that is when you're raising your child, you as a parent, you're raising a child. I don't know.
I mean, there are a number of ways, but I just want to ask, how does a 2-year-old go missing? Like a 2-year-old needs a lot of supervision all the time, and you often hear as soon as a child goes quiet, you got to find out. It's what it is. What are you doing?
The most quiet.
But a 2-year-old is a lot of supervision.
When they're quiet, that's when they're up to something. That's how we know it.
Left to their own device. Even a sleeping 2-year-old, right? You're gonna be checking every now and again. Every 2 minutes you pass and you check to see what's happening, right? How does a 2-year-old go missing? To the fact that wanders out a door or a gate, and I find that little thing. But we're following this.
Yeah, but I want to say, I get where Shard is coming from with this, because me myself as a parent, you have those children under such tight supervision. Like it's hard to understand that. But then also I know I have moved around to the point that I know that we have parents that have to be that are so consumed with providing meals and working and all. They don't know the situation at hand. So I definitely will be looking towards the details of this, because as it is right now, not much details is given as to the cause of death of this child. So we will wait and see, and we will let you know hopefully by tomorrow if there is any more development into this case. But you have to be responsible in the way in which you supervise your children, especially at those tender ages.
And it's one thing. I know lots of kids are not planned. Some parents do planning and the family planning, when we're going to have the child and so on. And even though lots aren't planned, but I will tell you this: if you haven't had a child as yet, and those of us who are parents know this, children need time. Right? Time to rear and care and supervise and to be there. You need time. But, we know it all too well in the socio-economic context at which we live, that there are so many other challenges to that time a parent has to spend there. But we're going to, as we got more information on this story of this 2-year-old who was missing and then found dead, we're going to have that for you.
Correct.
That kind of thing.
As we move forward to what's going on locally, we see 2 busted with masks, gloves, bulletproof vests, and ganja at Meadowbrook.
Like them boys had planned.
At Meadowbank, sorry.
Like them boys had a plan, Rita.
When I read it, initially, what could I possibly think when you are busted with mask, gloves, bulletproof vests, and ganja? Like, what am I to think about that?
Was it close to Halloween? What was it? Well, it's Halloween. It's November, September, I don't know. October.
But you're looking at the photo, Sher. What does it say to you about the attire?
And ganja too, how are you coming for that? Them boys,
but attire looks a certain way.
Them boys have plans. Them boys and we're going to leave it up to the viewers to come to your own conclusion. Them boys had 1-2 plans. We know that.
That's crazy, but again, I have to point out that this time, that Irfan Ali was the one that actually said that he's going to be meeting with the ganja planters and so forth. So there's a lot of persons I see that adds to that list of possible conversations.
Farmers, hardcore farmers. Hardcore farmers. But we say if you can't do the time.
And I always say, and I don't even, sometimes I just say give up on the older ones. And with young people, you got to be very careful, strategic on the decisions that you make. And at the end of the day, you always come back to what is the value of my life and what is the value of my freedom? How do I value my life and my freedom? Is this a decision I want to make that is going to risk my life and my freedom? So these are the things that you have to think about when you go out there, you make decisions and involve yourself in certain activities.
So you give up on the big people?
So sometimes I want to.
You give up on the big people?
Sometimes I want to. You know what? Banditry went young. Let's go on. Let's move forward.
You didn't give up on somebody. We don't give up on somebody else.
Let's move forward.
Yep.
All right. So, my goodness. So, as we're seeing it right there, GPL making excuses for failure on power generation, and more so, the government is saying that they inherited a bankrupt GPL, and that's so they're blaming on the AP and UAFC for mismanagement and for blackouts.
I don't drink much at this point.
So this is my thing with it, right? This is my thing with that altogether. How is it that we are 2 years in, 3 budgets later, not including the supplementary budget that comes in between. 3 budgets later, a budget of 552.9 billion Guyana dollars, and people still believe that they could come to the Guyanese people and say that, oh, well, it was the former administration that was doing this and that was doing that. When the AP and UAFC took office, persons, for example, where I live in Bartica, persons in Bartica didn't know what it is like to have regular electricity, blackout like crazy. Everybody, you could walk down to First Avenue there and find out what's going on. And then boys, instead of working hours, to try to get this thing fixed, they gotta wait from some part for come up on the steamer or the speedboat. So you're hole out there, do without your light. And
brace.
And persons took to the streets in protest under the PP administration prior to 2015. In 2015, the coalition came into office. Right now, Bartica got solar farm. I noted that some photos were circulating, with the solar farm there, brand new power station up there in Bartica, and all of that. Persons have now reliable electricity. Electricity can be pushed to the neighboring, further locations in the township, and I almost said neighboring, simply because those communities that were not considered Bartica prior, but after the township, there was new demarcation of the boundaries, and those areas like Agatash and Dog Point and so are now being included in the township and in constituency number 9. Nevertheless, my point is that the coalition could have easily said, we inherited GPL as a mess, but the coalition didn't say that. The coalition said, this is what we inherited. This is what we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
And persons had for the very first time reliable electricity throughout the length and breadth of this country. So for the government to come now, mind you, that is without the biggest budget ever and all of these things. So for the government to come now after this budget of $552.9 billion to say that they inherited the bankrupt GPL and try to push blame, no one is going to believe it. I just want to point that out. No one is going to believe that. The people that are forcing themselves to believe that, they're stifling their own conscience. If you're listening now, I'm talking to you. And at this point in time, people need to start calling them out for this nonsense that, it was them. No. You are the government of
You're the helm. You got all the resources.
You are in the seat.
You
are spending for the very first time ever, the first government ever to spend the oil resources. Yeah. This is not an excuse.
They withdrew 200 million recently.
200
million US is withdrawn recently for soil, forest money. That being said, but during the system, the outlook you enunciated there in Bartica was the state of affairs in lots of parts of this country, lots of townships, lots of villages and communities where you had to contend with sporadic light. Not sporadic blackouts, sporadic light, right? And I don't think there's a Guyanese watching us, the hundreds of you watching us, would say that you didn't have fewer blackouts pre-2020. You all know blackouts were becoming something of the distant past when they're right back here now with us. Well, we even say who's to blame or who's not to blame, fix it. We got more money now than we ever had in our history. Fix the problem.
But you can't say who's to blame and all that, because the last I checked, when we had blackouts, there was a specific person at the helm at GPL, and now we have blackouts again. That person's right there again.
Yeah.
So how are we not supposed to just put those together?
Well, let me say beyond the blaming, Right? Let me fix the problem. We got the money to do it. Let me do it. Fix the problem.
Correct is right.
Let me fix it.
So that's a bit of nonsense that we saw there being reported. Region 10 chairman accuses government of marginalizing and ignoring regional and local government bodies. And this is something we have been speaking about consistently. I want to point that out first of all. We have been speaking consistently.
Yes, we have.
About the fact that the regions, especially the regions won by the APN, UAFC, this is region 7, region 10, region 4, and region 4 being a major issue given the population size of the region altogether and the amount of persons that are impacted by the behavior of the PPP administration. Region 10 being one of those regions. Region 10 has been experiencing this, how am I don't want to just say marginalization as it is. Region 10 has been experiencing a total...
I say the brunt of the PP wickedness.
The brunt of their wickedness. You're putting it over nice. I think that's nicely. Well, let's just stick to that because my word is evading me right about now that I'm thinking of. Nevertheless, I want to point out something. Barjagdio was in region 10 and he spoke about having 800 part-time jobs being guaranteed for the region and all of that. We learned after and we brought it to your attention. It was on the morning program. It was on the midday, I think on the evening programs as well. The fact that we learned that it was the Prime Minister's representative in the region that was responsible for collecting the forms that persons had to fill out to actually get these jobs. And this is what the regional chairman is talking about there, Either the REO or the Prime Minister's rep is responsible for this. Now, that is not how you run a government. There's a reason why you have local government election. There's a reason why you have a regional part on that ballot paper when you go to the polls. So that when persons elect a set of persons, they are given the responsibility to conduct the duties on behalf of the people who elected them. Those persons are not being given the opportunity to do the work that they want to do. And the regional chairman is spot on. I have to say, Darren Adams, he has been
always hard work.
And he has been always out and about, and he has been letting the concerns be known. You can't do that. It cannot be accepted as the business of the day. I know, Sharon, most interestingly, guys, you know that I'm a part of the Public Accounts Committee. And most interestingly, this is streamed live, so you can go fact check what I'm saying. But it was alleged, well, not alleged, it was brought to the Public Accounts Committee during a questioning segment last Monday. We were asking about drugs and medical supplies and those things. We were brought to our attention that there's a drug bond being there, and over as being reported there by the REO. Persons can go back and check the video that the drug bond was actually it's $900 and something thousand per month and all of that. But startling enough, we learned that the actual person, as said, this is what the REO said, that the person not the REO, said that the RHO actually, that the person that actually owns the bond was the Prime Minister's rep.
Wow.
So money all of these things, because those things are, there's a lot of things happening that we have to just pinpoint. We, as a society, we need to do a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
The regional chairman is doing what he has to do, but he needs all the support he can get from the persons on the ground to make sure that this does not continue. Because I wanted to mention at this point that it is the identical way in Region 7. You will go to Region 7, the government ministers goes to Region 7, and when they go, they walk around with the REO as though he's the regional chairman. As though the REO is the one that is in charge of all of these things, and he is making things in collaboration with the government, and completely sideline the elected administrators for the region, and that is most ridiculous. These are things that we need to talk about. These are things we need to get under control as soon as possible before this blows over. Because at this point, when it comes to Region 7, that is about to blow over. Let me just tell you, Region 7 is about to blow over when it comes to that. But that's another discussion, and I'm going to tell you heard it here first.
The PNCR, the People's National Congress Forum, had a very comprehensive press conference yesterday on lots of the issues that are affecting Region 10. I think Darren was there. Yeah. The regional MP, German Figuer, was there. And you had some other persons. You had a councillor, RDC councillor from the region, also part of this press conference. A very, very comprehensive press conference on all the goings on and the the infractions of the administration in Region 10. We commend that. You still on our pages, folks, across social media. You should take a look at that. It's going to be instructive, very, very instructive. And I really want to commend Darren for being such a force on the ground and for really working on behalf of the people there in Region 10 as regional chairman. As you know, the other chairmen in this country, especially those PP chairmen, could take a page out of Darren's book. He knows what is happening on the ground in that region, Region 10. He knows, he understands it, and he's fighting tooth and nail for the betterment of the residents of Region 10, irrespective of political parties, fighting for all. Yep.
Correct. And as we go on to the big issue for this morning. Yes,
we're there. Well, the Traitors has a big conference that's happening right now at the National Assembly, and it brings into sharp focus the parliamentary affairs that the government's conduct in the National Assembly, and as well lots of other issues, lots of other allied issues. Really, tell us about this conference in brief that's happening there, and then we're going to talk about the PPP's parliamentary affairs as our big issue today.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that that we welcome as parliamentarians. We welcome these initiatives, the CPA, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and their efforts that they're making to actually to come to have this conference. This is a conference that should have been way before, since after the election and all of those things, when they're new parliamentarians and all of that. Nevertheless, it's now because, as you know, there was the whole issue with COVID and all of that. But now that the systems are more relaxed and everybody's trying to move forward, we have them here. So we want to say that we are always open to these discourse, conversations, activities all together, and that's a good starting point for me. But with that said, I think everybody, it would be ridiculous for anybody to believe, especially persons from the government side, that the opposition is just going to go sit merrily, clasp your hands and just be as though it's all good and gracious here in Guyana, because it is not, and
it's been a tumultuous parliament.
It has
on the
been,
Marginalization, very tumultuous parliament.
It has been, a lot of information being brought out in the conversation, because this is not something that is live streamed or anything like that, but a lot of conversations actually coming out.
Like what have you guys been? I'm in suspension, by the way, still. So what have you guys been talking about?
So Sherrod has not been there, but I wanted to just start off by the fact that our opposition MPs, two of whom had the opportunity to speak yesterday, Vincent Henry and Stephen Sears, both of them basically pinpointing issues that we're dealing with. But today would be most interesting, because today we're supposed to be looking at conflict resolution, and that is a matter. I know this is going to be a major part of this whole seminar.
How so?
It will be a major part because a lot has to be said. And I imagine a lot has to be said on both sides.
PP conflict resolution methodologies, that we have the numbers.
Correct.
Mike is right.
And that's one of the things, yesterday, one of the things that was brought to the front in the discussions, everyone is like, how would you deal with that when questions are being asked? Because, we have the honorable speaker of the House from the Trinidad and Tobago Parliament.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Great.
You're missing her, yeah.
Great.
I'll tell you to say hi.
Missing a lot. Enjoy my suspension as we talk about the parliamentary affairs of the PPP.
Yes. So one of the things that was brought to light, a lot of questions that was put to her from the opposition member, she was saying, she reverted how she do that. She reverted the standing order. But then it brings us the whole questions like the standing order, the sanctity of the standing order altogether, as she is holding it. The standing order have this, the standing order have that. And the craziness is how our parliament is set up, that even the standing orders, they're not protected, because at a click of a finger, if it doesn't suit the government agenda, they go to the House and they say, we're amending this to suit this. You're amending the standing order just like that. So even that aspect of it has to be questioned. But one of the most interesting things, and I want to point that out, is that the question was asked to the UK parliamentarians that was there, like how do you plan, how is it that Parliament is called? Because we're making a point that in Guyana, the only way we go to Parliament is if the government calls Parliament. You get this, I think it's 5 days or something like that, heads up notice that you have Parliament in the next couple of days, and that's how it's called. And it was quite amazing to hear the response. And the woman said that they get a schedule of when the sittings are going to be for the entire year at the ending of the first year. And this is something that both government and opposition work on. It's a collaborative effort. She said, I think she made a point at one point in time that there were women in Parliament, they were mothers and whatever on this school period and they were asking for a different scheduling to accommodate that, and everybody agreed that yes, they should accommodate that, because they want a representation of these women in the House. And so that was like mind blowing to think that there's a Parliament that actually plans a year in advance.
Under that, the important point here is that Parliament is hardly ever called here.
Yes, that
hardly
is the
ever
fact
called.
of it.
Well, how much sittings we have to for the year? 2?
I am not sure.
Right?
Probably 3.
3? Right.
I think you were there for the first,
so
and
we had 2 other sittings since there, right? So Parliament is highly called. They start the year like they did last year by talking about a robust parliamentary agenda. Right? But if you're not calling Parliament often, then you're discussing a lot of things there. So your robust agenda is actually very not so.
And another important point that was brought yesterday, the question was asked about how regional or constituency representatives are funded and all of that. And the woman actually said that in addition to the stipend that parliamentarians get, they are afforded the opportunity to budget, to go out into their constituencies and work, regardless of whether they are opposition or government parliamentarians. I'm thinking I'm in the wrong parliament.
Those parliaments exist.
But I want people to understand why.
We're giving funds to do projects for your communities and stuff.
To go on the ground and do actual work. And I want to make this point, because a lot of times, we hear all the comments about boots on the ground and all of that. People want to see their representatives in their communities as the representatives should be in the communities, but nobody knows that the representatives have to fund themselves to go in the communities. And here we have a system. We have this seminar is bringing to the front the fact that governments in other countries fund representatives to go on the ground, regardless of whether they are government or opposition MPs. Another point
go ahead. Let us know about the heaven and earth we got.
And one of the other parliaments, I can't remember which one I'm talking, which one. Never mind. I'm not going to try to remember. But some of the MPs were discussing with us and they were saying like, when they travel, everybody, they said they're equal. And so they were given an example. They said, for example, when they are traveling, because they're parliamentarian, everybody have the diplomatic passport. So we were like, what do you mean everybody? Like government people? They're like, government, they said, members of parliament all have diplomatic passports to travel. So they were astonished to hear that the opposition members of parliament in Guyana isn't afforded that respect or that right altogether to go out there and travel. That when the opposition MPs travel, they travel like anybody.
Well, listen to me.
Right?
You're not even getting an invitation to flag raising.
How you getting the
diplomatic passport? You understand?
No, but this thing. What was interesting to note is the shock on these people's faces when they learned that they could not believe that. It's something that they found extremely strange that persons were like that.
Yeah.
So a lot's being brought in, and that's why these engagements are always good to have, and you have to move forward in terms of best practices. How do you go forward? A lot will be learned today as we go into the discussions, especially when it comes to conflict resolution. I know that is a big issue that is going to be boiling as we speak.
Yeah, but you got to come back and give us an update on how that's going. But definitely we need a more responsive parliament. And it doesn't mean the way we operated 30 years ago is the way we have to function now.
I am glad you're making that point, because that is where issue I always try to tell people, because people always there's a lot of times persons have this notion that this is a way in which this is the way in which it was done then, so this is the way in which we have to do it now. If that's
suffer, then you got to suffer now.
the very fact that we have elections every 5 years in the country gives an opportunity for basic things to be changed, basic practices and so on. But it always have to be, and this is a point I want to make, the changes should never be that you are going 10 steps backwards. The changes always should be strengthening democracy, strengthening participation, strengthening collaboration, and all of that, especially at the level of parliament. The changes should never be that you are going back, because some people could come and say, you know what, we change this standing up, but you just change something to go 10 steps backwards. You just change something to stifle scrutiny and oversight and all of that. So that can't be something that you're proud of. All right. So the changes that we're making have to be things that are progressive. You have to make progressive changes. And I want to make this point. You know, when I was at the conference prior to this conference, when I was at the conference in Barbados, I found it very interesting what one of the government MPs said. You know, she was making a point that she does everything in her, and this is a government MP coming out of Jamaica, and she was making a point that she does everything in her power to collaborate and be very inclusive with the members of the opposition. She said, because when she is in the opposition seat, and she said, yes, that's what I said, when I'm in the opposition, she said, because the only government that does not reach an opposition is a dictatorship, and she doesn't represent that, right? So if all of us have this thinking, we will think differently as we structure a system of balance and equity across the board for representation of the people,
which is what
government and opposition.
Which is what we say, you know, this whole what the Sabbath call one party Guyana. One Guyana means different things to different people. You know, it means one Guyana means different things to different people. You could go and give and regularize some people there with no trouble on one side, but some other people, you go and break down the houses and carry on like that. Yeah, that's one Guyana.
Break down the houses and all of that, then deny that it ever happened, then go and get a resolution with something that never happened.
People could, you know, tell women in the National Assembly about dildo and so on, and we see some of the outrage. We see it because the First Lady get a picture on Facebook, you know, taking she drinks, right? We see the same kind of outrage, right? So one Guyana means different things to different people. You see, when the boat ride finish, we got a country to manage. A lot of people in this country suffering. Right? Suffering at various levels, economically, socially, resources not to the availability. Look at lots of schools, send us photographs, struggling, leaking roof, electric wires exposed, a whole host of issues, a ton of issues. When the boat ride finish, we got a whole country to manage.
At the end of everything, we have people that are dependent on us. You know, when taxpayers' dollars are being expended for so many different things, you know, we have to remember that we have people that are dependent on us every single day to make sure that they can feed their children, make sure that there's a roof over their head, make sure there's clothes on their back. And that's the actual fact of the matter. And I always say that in Guyana, the vast majority of our population is living in poverty. And I don't care how people take it. You know?
But you know what, Jack, you want to talk about SOPs.
Right?
That can solve the poverty problem here.
That can't afford to do what they
right? Can't afford to send a children to school. Can't afford to go to school with a children because they got to be out there fighting. Right? But you want to have SOPs.
You have persons in poverty, and then you have persons at the worst state you call absolute poverty.
Right.
You know, because persons, you don't think about poverty. A lot of times you think about poverty, and we think of, and we only have this concept of absolute poverty as poverty. Absolute poverty actually being not able to get a meal, not able to get these basic items, a meal, clothing, and so forth. You know, there's absolute poverty. Poverty, the concept of poverty all by itself is huge. It's great. And the majority of Guyanese are experiencing that.
We learned, and one of the things we touched on in the morning papers, if you just joined us, as we wrap up, is the fact that $200 million was withdrawn from the Natural Resources Fund. That's the fund they put all the oil wealth in. $200 million. But what was interesting to me, Trisha, is that the finance minister, well, the minister with responsibility within the office of the president of finance, says that these will be funding national projects. And if I'm wrong, I believe the same Natural Resources Fund Act says that you have to be specific. Specific. But these boys didn't care.
No, they're not doing it. They're in breach of a whole lot of these things, and I know that persons could say whatever, because they believe that they can go out there and say that if there's any bit of criticism to the method in which they're employing to do these things, and they're going to go out there and say, oh, the naysayers don't want the country to progress, and the naysayers this and naysayer that, and they need to stop that trash, because the fact remains that when you are stewards of the people's money, you are in a position to be critiqued on the way in which you manage those resources. And today or tomorrow we're in office, we are exposed to the same scrutiny in the way in which we manage a person's resources. And that's just the fact of the day. You're not spending your own money. You can't be upset if people scrutinize the way in which you're spending their money. This is people's money. And when you are being scrutinized,
people got their own life. People got a private life.
When you are being scrutinized for it, you have to do whatever you want to.
Folks, thanks for joining us this morning.
I think thanks for joining us.
Jewel Ward, Pamela Dover, Sister Mercy, Marilyn Thomas, Maria Alicott, Glenford Gordon. Great to see you. Who else is joining us? Who else we got with us? We got Audrey Milo, Audrey Milo. Sure. We got
I see Vesta Hardy Rajkumar is here with us this morning. I see, like you said, Glenford Gordon is here with us. I see Pamela Dover. I note your comment there. Can't read it out loud.
Margaret Nelson. How's your sister doing?
So Chiselle Chipper is 68.
Yeah, put it big, put it big. Notice me.
Morning.
Chiselle Chipper 68.
Robert Pops Archer is here with us this morning. Somebody's called this man Pops. So Pops, good to have you here. And Dolly Jones is here this morning.
Bella Moon is here as well. Anthony Phillips, Osmond Hodge,
Deborah Clark,
Don Morgan.
Deborah, how are you?
Debs.
I miss you, Deborah.
Deborah. Brian Sook, I can get
one of those people. Close.
But look how she take you over easy, just Deborah.
Like that. Just
easy.
It's
go to front.
It's what people do,
Yep.
I think what is it? It's not what persons.
Sinida Rampat.
How to make you feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sinida Rampat. You're absolutely right. Colin and Siobhan. Jacinta, good to see you. Deborah again, and all the other guys. Suzette Washington. Who you got, Drina?
I see Kwesi. Mofat is here with us.
Onika Light. Respect matters.
And Sasha Trim. Hey, Sasha.
Sasha. Great to have you guys this morning.
Did you see Paulette Hawk Kippens? Did you see that person?
Paulette.
So missionary Joy DeFreitas is here this morning.
Yeah. Joy DeFreitas. Joy, how are you doing? Joy, we got any holiday in this week? I can do that.
No, we don't.
No.
We had 3 days last week. It spoiled you.
Only.
It spoiled you.
We had a long time. Guys, I hope you guys have a productive morning for the rest of the day. We see you back at 12 for Below the Belt, and then we on at 8. Those are our times for today.
I think so. As per norm, we will invite you to join, and make sure that you invite persons to join the conversations that we're going to be having throughout the day for Below the Belt and all further in the ring. So make sure that you share the information, do your part, and all of that. Do the good deeds that you always do. And we could
make you look nicer there.
We depend on
Smash
folks
and share.
A whole lot.
Especially they help to keep us going.
Correct.
Take it from there.
We depend on you so much to keep us going. I think the number is 627-6963.
Yeah. If you want to partner with us, we tell you how. We got so many platforms.
Cash App, MoneyGram, Western Union,
PayPal. Yep.
I'm getting here.
Absolutely right. 627-6963, guys. You want to know how? We need your partnership. This is how we keep going. We publicly fund it.
Yes.
So we can talk the things who expects.
Correct.
Who expects? When the boat ride done, we gotta move this country forward.
When all is said and done, we need to move the country forward, and everybody that has a real interest in the development of the country would understand that constructive criticism is absolutely necessary, and we intend to give it every single day as we're doing. So have a good day, guys.
Have a good one.
Safe.
Have a good one.